let's begin. You take your time to come into your comfortable seat, whatever that looks like for you. You can close your eyes if you'd like, or lower and soften the gaze. Starting to let the awareness of the body and the breath take up more mental space. Seeing if you can take some breaths in and out through the nose, and noticing that relationship between your breathing and your posture. And maybe as you start to be more aware of the breath, it starts to change, slow down. Take one more big breath here, filling up into the belly and the rib cage. Please take palms together. I'll start us off with a mantra you can say to yourself. So it's, I am smart, I am kind, I am important. And take a deep breath in. And exhale, release the head. And release the hands, opening the eyes. And we'll make our way to child's pose. So from hands and knees, take knees wide, big toes towards each other. And sink the hips back, lowering all the way down to the mat. Just seeing how much you can notice in your child's pose, what the body feels like, what the breath is like. You can come to child's pose at any time on your own or any other shape. And use your hands to draw yourself up to hands and knees. Again, lined up. And press down the tops of the feet, spread the fingers, plug in arms and legs into the core. And take yourself through some cat-cow. So movement in the pelvis causes movement in the spine. Or maybe you initiate movement with the shoulder blades. We'll add on, so try making some circles with the head and the tail. Hitting some diagonals, side bends. You can try going the other direction. At some point, you head back to child's pose. Let's walk hands over towards the left side of the mat. You can stack them, sinking the opposite hip away, so side bend. Maybe adding a twist, looking under the armpit. Hands through center towards the other side. You can stack the hands. Hands could be on the mat, off the mat. But side bending, maybe adding a twist, looking under the armpit. Trying to breathe into any space you can find. And make your way back to center. And then please slide all the way down onto the belly. Setting up Sphinx. So coming onto the forearms. Press the pubic bone down. Try to straighten the legs. Back. Firing the hamstrings, pelvic floor. Try to get some weight in the hands. Press down, drawing the heart forward. You do a couple lion's breaths here, in through the nose. Out through the mouth with the tongue out. You do one more like that. Tuck the toes under. Press yourself back up. 2 hands and knees. We'll do a twist. So grounding. Open up with the right hand arm. And thread that arm behind the standing arm. Sinking the hips back. You can stay hovered. Or lower your shoulder to the mat. Maybe taking that other hand forward. Toes could be tucked or untucked. You get hands back in close to the body, coming back up. 2 hands and knees, reground. And open up with the left hand arm to the side. And twist. Sinking the hips back, you can stay hovered. Or lower the shoulder, cheek to the mat, maybe sliding your other hand forward for your twist. You're going to bring the hands back in, close to the body, coming back up to hands and knees. And let's come up. You can tuck the toes under, turn the fingers out, press down to lift. Oh, just kidding. You can step the left toes back, and turn the fingers out a bit. So keeping the top of the right foot on the floor, and press down to lift hips up and back. Sending the bottom of the left foot towards the floor. Try to spin the inner elbows forward. Press through the hands. Lift through the shoulders. And gently lower. And change sides. So stepping the right foot back. Keeping the top of the left foot or toes down, right? Press down. To shift hips up and back. Sending the bottom of the right foot towards the mat. And gently lower. Alright, now tuck the toes and press down to lift hips up and back for downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana, not Shavasana. Do a flow here. So lift the heels. You drop the heels over towards the right, bending through the knees, pressing through the hands. Going side to side. So in the center, lift the heels, lift the hips. Drop the heels towards the left, flexing through the feet, bend the knees. We're going like that, side to side. Get yourself all evened out if you feel like you need to do the other side another time. Coming back to center. And gently lower the knees, coming all the way down and back to child's pose. You could make fists, flexing the wrists, maybe roll them out. hands to draw yourself back up. 2 hands and knees. And tuck the toes under. And press down to lift hips up and back, coming up into downward facing dog. Pressing through the hands, lift through the shoulders. Lifting hips up and back. You could spread fingers and toes. Kind of knitting the low ribs. And slowly walk your feet to your hands. Coming into a forward fold, feet about hip width distance, parallel, knees can be bent. Kind of pressing the feet down, get that foot to butt connection, let the whole upper body hang, let the head go. If you want to skip the forward fold, you could come into squats. So feet mat width, toes out. Using elbows to guide the knees open. Ooh, grounding into the feet, lift and lengthen halfway, pressing big toe, pinky toe down, lifting the crown of the head forward, and gently bow forward. Grounding into the feet, big breath, reverse swan dive, coming up through the flat back, all the way to standing. Bringing palms together in front of the heart, maybe separate the feet a bit, feeling into the feet. Press down equally through the feet. Get a big breath. Start to sweep the arms out and up. And slowly bow forward. Staying rooted through the feet. So hips, and then rounding through the spine. And yeah, let's do a squat. And separate the feet, heel toe them apart, turn the big toes out. Start by picking all 10 toes up, lift the toes, spread the toes, and set the toes down and slowly lower the hips. Coming down into a squat, low squat, so if you want, you can side a block under the sits bones, right, whatever works for you. And then as slow as you can, heading back to the forward fold. Maybe taking the block out in front, but going as slow as you can. All right, we'll do a little flow. So grabbing your blocks. Get one foot, how about the right foot forward? Maybe heel toe it out and around, get it out in front. You could put a blanket under the back knee for more padding. So low lunge spot, here's good. If you feel safe unweighting the hands, you could lift the chest, maybe stopping hands on the front thigh, lengthening tailbone down, or maybe take the arms up. Using that lift of the pelvic floor. That's too deep. You can tuck the back toes to lift the back knee for your lunge. But we'll move between the low lunge and a reverse splits. So slide the hips back, maybe tuck the back toes, straightening through the front leg, flexing your toes towards your face. So however high you need the blocks to be is great. If you're like, I don't feel anything, right, you could round over your front leg, but maybe moving between those 2 spots a couple more times on your own. I'll do the other side. You can get feet back together. So something symmetrical in between sides, that could be forward folds. You could do a down dog. And we'll do the other side. So you can get that left foot out in front, maybe heel toe it out and around. low lunge, right? If that's too deep, you could tuck the back toes to lift the back knee, active through the feet, or if you feel safe unweighting the hands, you could lift the chest, stopping hands on the front thigh, or taking the hands up, trying to lengthen the tailbone down, big puffy chest. Using the low front to protect the low back. And then flowing, so moving from your low lunge, shift the hips back, maybe tuck the back toes, straightening through the front leg, flexing your toes towards your face. And go between those a couple times on your own. And then to come out, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, step the feet side by side. We'll do some kind of asana. So go back to the first side, the right foot in front, left foot back. So we'll move from the runner's lunge and then flip the blocks up high, set them out in front so you got somewhere to go. When you're ready, shift forward, press down to lift the back leg. So like warrior 3 with props, try to keep equal length on the sides of the body. So sucking the femur bone in, trying to keep hips level. You might help to engage the lifted leg foot in some way. When you want to come down to the lunge. How about one more time? So from your runner's lunge spot, flip the blocks up high and set them out in front. And when you're ready, shift forward, press down to lift the back leg. Totally okay to bend your standing leg knee. You're trying to square hips and shoulders towards the floor. So square hips, you could play with turning kneecaps away from each other, right? A little half moon action. You take the top hand to the sacrum. Totally good to keep that foot in your peripheral vision. You don't want to swing it behind you. And square it back off. Set yourself down. You try the other side. We'll step the right foot back. Do some kind of asana on this side. So tuck the back toes to lift the back knee. Flip the blocks high. Set them out in front. And then when you are ready, shift forward, press down to lift the back leg. You could play with unweighting the hands, right? Maybe take the arms out in front. Trying to keep equal length on sides of the body. Both sides of the body. When you want to come down, set that back foot down. And one more time on this side. So when you're ready, flip the blocks up. Put them out in front. As you are ready, shift forward, press down to lift the back leg. So square towards the floor. If you want to mess around, you could turn big toes away from each other. Right? So that front block a little bit out in front to the side. Maybe take that top hand up towards the ceiling. Totally good to keep your foot in your peripheral vision. You don't want to crank it behind you. And then when you want to come down, square back off. Set yourself down. And come on up to standing. Take a little beat in mountain, feeling into the feet. Lift through the chest, lift through the crown of the head. You could pedal out the feet. Do some wide-legged symmetrical stuff. So you can take one block or both blocks out in front. Just being ready, but take a wide stance with the feet wide, start toes out. Get a good bend to the knees, kind of glide side to side, see what that's like. And then coming into the middle. So neutral, kind of like you're sitting on a horse, and then eagle arms. So left over right and clap. Sinking the hips, lifting the elbows up. Draw the shoulders down, maybe drop the chin slightly. Try to steady and soften the gaze. And press down to open up, straightening, giant X, starfish. And rebend, switching the arms right over left. Sinking into goddess with eagle arms. Feeling into four corners of both feet. And press down to come on up. And then let's come down through the squat. So get a good bend to the knees. And then get your hands into a block. You might need to stack blocks or whatever you're using to bring the floor up to you. Come into a squat. And then parallel inner edges of the feet. We'll try to get wrists under shoulders. Press the feet apart to engage the legs. So try to get a little lift of the tailbone. Lift in the collarbones, kind of like someone's poking you in the solar plexus. And then let's twist. So you get your right hand right under your face in the line of the spine and drop the right hip down. Might not be a big movement. Take your left hand to the sacrum, keeping that lift in the tailbone. Maybe take that top hand toward the ceiling. And come through center. Press the feet apart. Long spine. And take the left hand right under the face. Drop the left hip down, might not be a lot. And take the right hand to the sacrum. Keep pressing the feet apart. Maybe take that right hand towards the ceiling. Try and twist around a straight spine. Take your time to do each side, like one more time. And then anything you think would feel good, right? You could let the spine round, maybe lowering the forearms, or taking your hands to your body. You could alternate taking both hands to one foot at a time. Pressing the feet apart. If it feels like a good idea, you could interlace hands behind the back. Squeezing shoulder blades together. But a few breaths, whatever sounds good. Get hands back under shoulders. And walk the block over towards that right foot. Turning toes towards that long edge of the mat. Put the block on the outside. Bend in the front knee. And take the top hand to the sacrum for side angle. If that's too deep, you take that bottom hand to the inner knee thigh. Press the feet apart. And coming through center, walking the block around, parallel inner edges of the feet, press the feet apart. And then walking over towards that left foot, turning toes towards that long edge of the mat. You put the block on the outside. So knee over ankle, keeping that hip in line with the knee. Top hand, you could take it to the sacrum. Or if that's too deep, right, you come out a bit, taking that Bottom hand to the inner knee thigh. Come back to center. And to come out and come up through the squat. So I'm going to turn the toes out. And press down to come up to standing. Get the feet back together. Do some Parsvottanasana, triangle stuff. And get your blocks on the high face out in front. And then from standing, you can step the left foot back, right foot forward. Separate the feet enough that you can square hip headlights forward. So straight legs, press the feet apart, core. Could have hands on the hips or low back. And slowly tilt the pelvis forward. Keeping that flat back so you can feel the multifidi bump up on either side of the spine. And press down to lift back up, pointing the sits bones back towards the floor. Add on, so as you are ready, slowly tilt the pelvis forward. Good, stop there, right? Or let the spine round. Get a hand into either side of the foot. Hands into blocks. Whatever height is good for you. Let cat back. Let the head go, moving towards square in the hips. Press the feet down. When you're ready to come out, we'll reverse it. Coming up through the flat back. Use everything. Feet, hands, core. Come on up. And play with the arms. So same foot that's out in front, same hand take it in front. Triangle arms. And then switch the arms. So twisting, other hand in front, other hand behind. And then from there, reach forward so the pelvis has to tilt. Bottom hand, you could take it to blocks on the inside of the foot. Top hand to the sacrum. Or you could totally take that bottom hand to your outer thigh for a twisted triangle. Make sure you still got arches in the feet. When you're ready to come out, you untwist. Get the feet back together. We'll do the other side. Getting your blocks out in front on the high face. Step the right foot back. Good step back. Get enough width, enough length that you can square hips forward. So press the feet apart. Engage the legs. Engage the core. You know where we're going. So as you are ready, lift the tailbone, right? Or to tip the pelvis forward. Maybe take the gaze a bit off the front of the mat. So whatever stops you, right, from getting torso parallel with the floor. And press down to come on up. Add on, so as you are ready, slowly tilt pelvis forward. Still got that pelvic floor, hamstrings. Could stay there. Or round through the spine, take hands to the leg, or a block on each side of the foot. Cat back. Moving towards square in the hips. So drawn front hip back, back hip forward. Press the feet apart. And to come out through the flat back spot. Feet, core, hands. Lifting up slowly. So planning ahead, right? You could stack your blocks on the inside of the foot. Same foot out in front, same hand in front. So triangle arms. Does something in the hips. And then switch the arms. So twisting, right hand forward, left hand back. And reach forward. Take that back hand to the sacrum. Bottom hand could come to the outer thigh or blocks for twisted triangle. If it's fun, you take the top hand towards the ceiling, but only if it's fun. When you're ready ready to come out. Untwist, get the feet back together. And move the blocks off the mat. Feel into the feet and turn the palms out. You could come down through a squat or forward folds. So, engaging the pelvic floor and slowly bow forward. Staying strong through the legs. So hips and then spine. Or you could totally come down through squats. And get hands into the mat. And down to hands and knees. Come all the way down onto the belly. Beyond four, and then bend through the left knee. You could press down the other foot that's down. So you could stay there, press the pubic bone down if that's enough going on. Or reach back and grab for the outside of the foot, kind of kicking into the hands. You could keep the chest lifted, or it might feel good to relax the forehead down. And keep knees side by side. And breathe. And gently release that, maybe in between sides, rocking hips side to side. And then other side, so bend through the right knee, try to beef up the hamstring. You press down the other foot that's down, pubic bone down. You could stay here or reach back for the outer edge of the foot. Like kicking into the hand. So yeah, a lot of variation. You could lower the forehead down. You could take the left hand forward and try to like kick up. Lift and maybe pick some ribs up. Gently lower, coming down. Good, release that. Tuck the toes, get the hands under your shoulders. Press yourself up. We'll do a camel flow. So for camel, it's always good to pad the knees. Put a blanket under there. Toes untucked or tucked, whatever feels more solid. You take the hands to the low back, try to lengthen tailbone down, get the core going. Drawing shoulder blades towards each other, maybe hinge up and down a couple times. So that's camel, you could stop there. Or I've been playing with this flow lately. You can use the blocks or your body. We get your blocks by the outer edges of the feet. And then take left hand to the block. Press hips forward. Maybe you reach the right arm up. Looking down outside of the knee. Or up if you feel safe. And come up and try the other side. So taking the right hand to the block or your sacrum. Pressing hips forward. Lifting the right arm up. Maybe looking down the outside of the knee or up towards the ceiling. You could do each side one more time if you wanted. Hand to your prop or the body. Hips forward, lift the arm up. When you're all done with that, you can set your blocks off to the side. Take legs wide for Upavishta, so it might help to sit up on a blanket. But legs wide, might need to move the butt out of the way. Knees might have to bend to keep the low back from rounding. And whatever makes it easier with the hands. So hands could be on the body, behind you. You could roll your ankles. Flex and point the toes. Change in directions. You could shift side to side, kind of picking the sits bone up. Keep pressing the heels down. If it feels like a good idea, you could fold forward. So as far as you can get, tilting the hips forward, and you letting the spine round. Keeping the knees pointed up. When you're ready to come out, coming out slow. Get the feet together, put the block out to the side. All right, so coming to hands and knees. You tuck the toes under, turn the fingers out a bit. Press down to shift hips up and back for down dog. Spread your fingers and toes. Lift through the shoulders. Trying to lift hips up and back. Try to take some good breaths in down dog. And gently lower the knees and take yourself through some cat-cow. You can add child's pose into the flow, maybe after the cat or the cow. You can spend as little or as long in each spot. No rush. Next time you're back in your child's pose, you can stay there for a bit. Option to bring palms together and bend at the elbows so fingertips point back behind you. See if you can take 3 more breaths here in child's pose. Use your hands to draw yourself back up to hands and knees. We'll set up for pigeon. So you could come in from down dog or hands and knees. So from hands and knees, drawing the right knee towards the right wrist. Back leg long. You could be on fists, fingertips, or blocks. But starting active. So pressing down through the shins. Hugging inner thighs towards each other. If you feel safe unweighting the hands, you could stack them on the low back or reach your arms up. And if you want to lower down, you could lower down to forearms or let your side butt come to the mat, right? Going somewhere that feels safe, you can breathe. To come out, you reverse it, getting hands under shoulders, get your shin under you, coming back to hands and knees. You do something symmetrical in between sides. Could be child's pose or Coming up into down dog, taking a few breaths in your shape. And then gently lower the knees and set up the second side. So drawing the left knee towards the left wrist, back leg long. So active, right? You can have fists or fingertips. Pressing through the shins, hugging inner thighs towards each other. You could wiggle around. If you feel safe unweighting, right? You could stack hands on the low back. Or reach your arms up. Lift the chest, maybe lift the gaze. And if you want to come down, you'll lower to forearms. If you want to not lower belly face to the mat, right? Or taking the side butt to the floor. Those are good options. But making it work for you. See if you can breathe here for a bit. And do let your butt come to the mat so you can sweep feet out and around in front. So feet out in front and then cross the left foot over. Feel into the sits bones. You're going to hook the elbow, taking your left fist hand behind you. Maybe close the eyes. You think about inhaling all the way up to the collarbones. Exhaling all the way down to the bottom. And release that, unwind, and set up the other side. Crossing the right foot over. And hook the elbow, taking your right hand or fist behind you. Maybe closing the eyes so you're not leading the twist with your head and neck. Come on out, taking both feet out in front. So you could stay here, right, in your Dandasana. Maybe taking the hands behind you. Or if it feels like a good idea, you can try tilting forward with the pelvis. Maybe let the spine round, let the head go. Might be a good spot to flex and point the feet. Another good option is bend the knees, soles of the feet on the floor. And let the spine round so you can get that face to leg contact and let the big muscles in the back, neck, let go a bit. When you're ready to coming out slow. Do a little self-massage. So you can do this with a tennis ball, but you can also just do it with your body. So you just take your hands behind you and then alternate, right? Pick a butt and make circles. Massaging your muscles with your bone. You do the other side. Tennis balls are good because they have a little give. But this works too. When you're all done with that, come back up. please grab your strap. Head onto your back. And start with getting both feet in the strap. Like legs up the wall. You could press heels towards the ceiling. You could press toes towards the ceiling. Staying grounded through the back of the body. And then take the left foot out of the strap. Strap, same foot, same hand. You want enough slack in the strap that you could stay grounded through the shoulder blades and the hips. Totally okay to bend the knee. So taking the left hand to the top of the left hip, slowly take the foot out to the side. Turning big toes away from each other, only going as far as you can keep your whole butt on the floor. Maybe take the left arm out to the side. Slowly guide the foot back up towards the ceiling. Switch hands with the strap. Gently guide the leg across your body, only going as far as you get some sensation. You're going to exhale your way back up. You have both feet in the strap. Take the right foot out. So getting both pieces of the strap in the left hand. Enough slack that you can stay grounded through the shoulder blades and hips. Maybe find a good point on the ceiling to steady and soften the gaze on. You take the right hand at the top of the left right hip. Start to take the foot out to the side. So probably not your full range of motion. Using the pelvic floor. Try to stay soft through the neck and jaw. Gently guide your foot across the body. Switch hands with the strap. Closing the hip. One more good breath here. When you're ready to come out, bend the knee to release your foot from the strap. Set it off to the side. Maybe roll to your side to come up to sit. So last thing before your Shavasana. Here's a good trick. So with your blanket, it's good. You made a good mess. Open it up a couple times. I don't know how long that is. And then accordion. It's the best way I've heard how to describe that. But making a column. And then if you have tassels on your blanket, get the tassels away from you. Line it up with the low back. And then lie down. So getting the blanket under the spine, going up between the shoulder blades. You could take your fingers and bump it up behind the neck for a little support. You could do soles of feet together, knees wide. Pushing the feet away from the body to make it less intense. Or you could straighten the legs, right? Or do feet on the floor, knees bent. Coming into a comfortable shape. Trying to breathe into all directions, even the back of the body. Filling up into the belly and the rib cage. Take 2 more breaths here. And press into the outer edges of the feet to guide the knees together. You could roll to your side to come up to sit. You take palms together at the heart. And thank you for practicing with me.